We open on Krypton. We see fire and smoke everywhere as a ship floats in the atmosphere, sending pods of animal creatures down to Krypton to attack the citizens. Suddenly, we see Jor-El running away from the animal people towards a house where Lara Vorvan is shooting these Ani-Men that are getting close to their home. Jor-El shouts at Lara to begin closing the door, which she does. Jor-El quickly runs inside and makes it without letting the Ani-Men inside. The evolutionary's forces are too strong. Krypton can't fend him off. Then all is lost? Not all. Jor-El leads Lara to his lab where they have a space pod. Lara quickly grabs their son Kal-El from another room. Jor-El quickly turns to Lara. Lara, I can't save us. I can't save our planet. But I can save our son. That's all I can ask of you, my love. Lara loads Kal-El into Jor-El's ship as Jor-El sets coordinates to Earth. As Lara and Jor-El say goodbye to their son, the shuttle takes off and flies away past a large ship in the sky to somewhere else. On Earth, John and Martha Kent are on their farm when suddenly they hear a crash outside. John and Martha quickly run to their truck and drive to the crash. When they arrive, they find a crater with the ship inside. John and Martha approach it when suddenly it opens, revealing a baby. Years later, Kal-El, aka Clark Kent, is in Metropolis, walking into the Daily Planet, where Jimmy Olsen and Lois Lane greet him. Jimmy, Lois, and Clark begin to work on their most recent story, reports on a hulking figure in the desert in Texas that was responsible for a small town's destruction. Suddenly, Perry White walks out of his office and yells for Lois, Jimmy, and Clark. Jimmy asks what Perry needs, to which Perry explains that the Hulk they've been researching has been seen on the outskirts of Metropolis. Lois asks if he wants them to go look for it, which Perry says that they need to do the opposite since the Hulk is dangerous from reports. Perry says that's all he wanted to tell them and lets them get back to work. Jimmy and Clark head back to their desks before Lois pulls them away and tells them that they need to go find the Hulk. Clark clearly protests, saying that they shouldn't go, which Lois says that they'll be fine since they have a super plan. Later, Jimmy, Lois, and Clark are in the forest on the outskirts of Metropolis looking for the Hulk. As they search, Clark hears a voice and runs to it as Lois and Jimmy follow. As Clark looks around, he looks over a tree line and sees a man, shirtless and in purple pants, crying. Clark goes to him and asks if he's okay, to which the man says he's lost. Lois and Jimmy follow and see the man, and Lois gives him her jacket, which the man thanks her. Lois, Jimmy, and Clark help the man out of the forest until they are met with a military force, led by General Thunderbolt Ross. As Ross sees them, he tells them to step away from the man. Lois, Clark, and Jimmy protest when suddenly a soldier shoots the man in the head. Clark immediately takes Lois and Jimmy to cover when suddenly the man's body begins to grow and turn green. We see the man turn into the Hulk. The Hulk begins to rage and fight against the military and begin to head towards Metropolis. Clark quickly flies Lois and Jimmy away and changes into his Superman suit. As Hulk begins to take down buildings in Metropolis, Clark appears as Superman in front of him. Sir, please calm down. I don't want to hurt you. Hulk smash, Cape Man! Hulk launches at Superman and begins to fight him. Superman focuses on protecting the city and civilians while Hulk rages at Superman. Suddenly, the military appears with Sam Lane and Lex Luthor in a mech suit. Lex uses his suit to launch a sleeping gas into Hulk's mouth, knocking him out. Hulk slowly turns back into the man Bruce Banner, and after the fight with Superman, they left a fourth of Metropolis destroyed. Sam Lane quickly tells some of the soldiers to put Bruce Banner in containment. Superman walks to General Ross and asks about where the Hulk is going, to which Ross answers that that's classified. Over the next 3 months, Superman faces backlash by the public for not stopping the Hulk from destroying the amount of Metropolis he did. Meanwhile, Lois and Jimmy work on figuring out where the Hulk was taken. In a military base, Sam Lane and General Ross talk with Lex Luthor about what they should do with Hulk. Lex suggests using the Hulk to take out Superman, which Ross and Lane quickly shut down. Lex is clearly annoyed and asks what to make a phone call. Lex in the hallway calls Mercy Graves and asks if she has her mission completed. In a different base, Mercy answers and says yes, holding a vial of green liquid. Lex gets back into the room where he and the generals were talking, and they continue speaking. Lane and Ross clearly like Superman. At the end of their conversation, the three decide to keep the Hulk contained and collect samples. Later in LexCorp, Mercy Graves meets with Lex Luthor and gives him the green vial. Lex takes it to a room where another vial labeled Superman is. Lex grabs the vials and begins to put them in machines connected to a tube. Back in the Daily Planet, Lois is at her desk when she gets a call from one of her contacts on the Hulk. Lois answers it, and her contact tells her to meet him by the docks. Lois quickly gets Clark and Jimmy, and the three go to the docks. At the docks, the three meet with Lois's contact, Rick Jones. Rick explains that he contacted Lois due to her, Jimmy, and Clark's run-in with the Hulk, and wanted to help find him due to him wanting to thank Bruce for what he did for him. Lois asks what Bruce did, and Rick explains how Bruce was a scientist who created the gamma bomb for Ross, but when testing, Rick got in the way and Bruce saved him from the explosion, getting himself hit in the process and becoming the Hulk. Lois asks if he knows the location of Bruce, and Rick says yes and tells him that they're going to Texas. Lois and Jimmy look at Clark to Rick's confusion before Clark quickly super speed twirls into his Superman suit, then grabbing all three of them and flying towards Texas. At the base, Lex finds General Lane and asks why he likes Superman. Sam explains that Superman protects the people of Metropolis, without thanks or praise, and Lex scoffs at him. Sam, you say Superman doesn't want any thanks, and he's just someone who wants to help. But in the past 3 years of him facing villains, he has destroyed homes and buildings. But what happens when he decides to stop saving us? Or better yet, what happens if Zod or Hyperion, beings who are strong, if not stronger than Superman, return and he fails to stop them? Putting all our trust in aliens will lead to nothing but disappointment. I will not stand by and let Superman or the Hulk or that new Shazam person, people stronger than a normal person, without regulation, roam free. And I will not let people like you stand in my way. With that one sentence, Lex Luthor pulls out a gun and shoots General Sam Lane. Lex quickly walks out and goes to General Ross, who tells Lex that he wants to see this. Ross pulls up an image of Superman flying into the facility with the Hulk inside, with 3 others with him. At the base, Superman breaks into the cell where Bruce is held and helps him out. Suddenly, Ross and Lex appear and tell Superman and Bruce to stand down. Lex points his arm rocket at Superman when suddenly a soldier comes to General Ross and tells him that General Sam Lane is dead. Ross quickly turns to Lex and tells him that he's arrested for General Sam Lane's murder. Lois hears this and punches Lex in the face full force. Lex looks at Superman and presses a button on his suit. At Metropolis, the test tube from earlier breaks open and Doomsday, made from the blood of Hulk and Superman, begins to tear through the building and city. Almost instantly, as LexCorp falls, General Ross is informed of the monster in Metropolis. Superman looks at Bruce as he sighs and begins to turn into the Hulk. Superman quickly picks up Hulk and begins to supersonic fly towards Metropolis. When Hulk and Superman arrive at Metropolis, they see almost half of the city on fire and destroyed. As they get closer, they see Doomsday throwing a car towards a family, and Superman drops Hulk, who lands in front of the family and catches the car, saving them. Superman lands a punch on Doomsday towards Hulk, who punches Doomsday into the ground. Doomsday gets up and stabs Hulk through the chest with one of his spikes, with Hulk quickly pulling it out, healing, and stabbing it back into Doomsday. Slowly but surely, Superman and Hulk begin to wear down Doomsday. Superman gets an idea and signals to Hulk for him to punch Doomsday into the atmosphere, which Hulk does. Superman rockets into the sky and begins to push Doomsday towards the sun. Doomsday holds Superman to him with a spike, stabbing it into Superman. Superman pulls out the spike and uses his strength to throw it into Doomsday's chest, launching him into the sun, incinerating Doomsday. When Superman returns, he goes to Hulk and asks him to help rebuild, which Hulk agrees to. Over the next 6 months, Superman, Hulk, and the government help rebuild Metropolis. Clark, Lois, and Jimmy go to Lois's father's funeral, where Clark comforts her. Bruce gets to talk with Rick, who thanks Bruce for saving him, which Bruce says he was happy to. At the end of the 6 months, Bruce goes back on the run, with General Ross not wanting to let him go, but Superman making a public statement giving support towards the Hulk. Meanwhile, Metropolis reinstalls their faith in the Man of Tomorrow, their symbol of hope, Superman. Meanwhile, in a government base a few months later, Ross checks in with the base that they were holding Hulk in and sees that they still have vials of Hulk's blood. Ross looks intrigued as we cut to black. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was Superman. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you made it this far, make sure you chuck liking this video. And if you are excited to see where this universe is going to go, I highly recommend you go to the link in the description and join our Discord server to get a first looks and special announcements for any projects that are going to be coming up in the future. Shout out to my friend Comic Fan Studios for writing Superman. He's got his next project will be Wonder Woman, which will be releasing sometime. I don't know when exactly it's going to be releasing, but he will be writing it, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Josh from Rays Reviews, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye-bye.